Hello, my fellow medical students, PA students, nursing students, and horribly lost and confused grandparents. No, this is not Timmy, but thanks for watching. My name is Sebastian with DoctoredImagesMD, and this is A Walk in the Parkinsons. Let's open up with this park. In the park, there are two pathways, the direct and the indirect pathway. Parkinson's occurs due to loss of the dopaminergic neurons in the substantia nigra pars compacta, represented here with this sign, with the park's name, Sun Park, or SNPC. The loss of dopaminergic neurons leads to a lack of dopamine. This means there's no dope in the park, as this sign so clearly tells park patrons. The dopamine is normally released from the SNPC and has two effects in the caudate putamen neurons. The first is on the D1 neurons of the direct pathway. Seen here, the pathway of the one dog. The dog also has a campfire to remind you that D1 is a G stimulatory with increased camp, and these neurons also contain substance P as well as dynorphin, hence the P-shaped log in this campfire. Dope from the SNPC activates the direct pathway via the D1 receptors, which facilitates movement when the final signals are sent to the cortex. In direct opposition, SNPC dopaminergic activation of the D2 receptors in the indirect pathway neurons in the caudate putamen cause suppression of movement. The D2 receptors are seen in the image as two dogs on the indirect pathway. The D2 receptors also contain enkephaline. So in reference to Parkinson's, the SNPC neurons are lost. The neuromelatonin typically found in the cells is gone due to the cell's death. In a cross-section, this can be seen as the typically black-colored SNPC as a white color, or lighter color. This can be seen in our image as the sign, the Sun Park sign, bleeding its black color off and leaving behind a white sign. Without dope in the park, the direct pathway cannot be activated, as seen by this tree falling down over the direct pathway. With the direct pathway blocked, the body cannot facilitate movement. The result is Parkinson's. It is a hypokinetic disease where the patients cannot move and instead of arresting tremor and fight their body to produce movement. The classical signs of Parkinson's, or Parkinsonian traits, are the TRAPS effects, reminded here with the mousetrap. The first letter is the T. The T stands for tremors. It's described as a pill-rolling tremor, as seen in this man at 3 to 5 hertz. The R is for rigidity, commonly called cogwheel rigidity due to the way the muscles are able to move. Sort of a small piece at a time, followed by a lack of movement, and then a little more movement again. Kind of like the second hand on a clock, which is in fact controlled by a cogwheel movement. The A is for akinesia, or bradykinesia, seen here with this football. When I think Brady, I think Tom Brady, which is football, and since we are dealing with Parkinson's, a movement trait is bradykinesia. Akinesia and bradykinesia respectively mean lack of movement or slow movement. The P is for postural instability, seen here with the man falling backwards as he is unable to maintain his balance while walking. Individuals are often described as shuffling forward to avoid falling. Then they freeze up, often this precedes the fall. The falling man also shows several other Parkinsonian traits. He has a masked face, or masked facies, and he's staring straight ahead with a staring gaze. You'll also notice that the first man, the T, has a forward bent posture, shuffling steps, with his unsteady gait, all common Parkinsonian traits. Another trait to be aware of is micrographia. Lastly, there are two important comorbidities of emotional issues. And these are depression, which occurs in up to half of all Parkinsonian individuals, and psychosis, occurring in a smaller but still significant number. It's important to mention the lab tests for Parkinson's will show a decrease in DOPA and an increase in acetylcholine. Lastly, let's bring up the core of Parkinsonian treatment, levodopa. Now, levodopa is the immediate precursor of dopamine that, unlike dopamine, can cross the blood-brain barrier, or BBB. Seen here is this rainbow. And we can see the L, levodopa crossing, while the dope itself is unable to get across. In the brain, levodopa is enzymatically converted into dopamine by dopa decarboxylase, thus increasing dopamine levels and allowing some function of the direct pathway. Now, this is not without a variety of side effects seen in our man here. The side effects include mydriasis, which can be seen in his eyes, nausea and vomiting due to the stimulation of D2 receptors in the area postrema, tachyarrhythmias, seen here with his rapid beating heart, postural hypotension, also called orthostatic hypotension, seen here with the man once again falling backwards as he passes out while standing up. However, here, the fall is due to the failure of constriction of the vasculature upon rising from a seated or laying position, leading to that feeling of lightheadedness or dizziness that you may sometimes experience. However, in this case, it is extreme enough to cause syncope or fainting. Hypertension can also occur. L-DOPA is also plagued by wearing off effects that lead to shorter on episodes over time, as well as on-off episodes. Off being those times when the drug is not providing a benefit, and on being times when it is. That can be seen here with this light switch. Another side effect that is essentially the exact opposite of Parkinson's is its ability to cause dyskinesias and choreoathetosis of the face and extremities, seen here with the shaking foot. Now this is due to the dopaminergic overactivity and is similar to what we'll see in the next video, the hunt for Huntington's. The final side effect of L-DOPA to discuss are the behavioral effects. It's hallucinations, confusion, psychosis. That's seen here by the confused mark or cruciform mark on the man's face. Now L-DOPA undergoes extensive peripheral metabolism, so extensive only around 1% of it makes it into the brain. This means higher doses are needed, worsening the dose-related side effects, like the behavioral side effects. That can be seen here with a small hole in the top of this gazebo, providing only a small entryway for the L-DOPA into the brain. To combat this, L-DOPA is given with a peripheral decarboxylase inhibitor, carbidopa, seen here by the carburetors on the roof of the building. Now these allow more, up to 10% of levodopa into the brain. This lowers the required dose and thus many of the side effects. It also decreases the on-off episodes and wearing off effects. However, it tends to worsen the behavioral side effects, which makes sense, since those are the only real side effects that are due to the dopamine increase in the brain itself. That is seen as a larger confused mark on the roof itself, highlighted by the purple. Keep in mind there have been many strides in the battle against Parkinson's, and many other drugs are available, including DA receptor agonists, MAO-B inhibitors, COMT inhibitors, a serendipitous antiviral called amantadine, and muscarinic receptor antagonists. Don't forget to check those out on your own. Once again, thanks for watching. I hope you learned a little about Parkinson's. As my baby brother kindly pointed out, it's not called following me, so please instead subscribe to me for more videos, and please feel free to comment. I'm Sebastian, and this has been A Walk in the Parkinson's from DoctoredImagesMD. See you soon, and have a productive day.